So this is day 5. The plan today was always going to be quite a long day. We're going to leave our camp and head up over the Rotang Pass. This is about 700 meters of climbing, about 17k, so it doesn't sound too bad. And then from the top there's probably another 80 kilometers heading down into the valley, following the valley round, and then a final climb up into a place called Keelong. Now we've managed to make it a bit later than we'd hoped for, and we're currently just sat in a hotel, swapping out the showers and diving in for a bit of food because we're pretty much on our last leg. So the 17k to the top of the Rotang Pass was a little bit sterner than we thought, mainly because mudslides had covered all the roads. So the points when we were just pushing bikes and you couldn't really do much more. Quite a few vehicles were stuck. We saw quite a few of them turn around and go back the way they'd come. And in actual fact, the day before we'd heard a couple of bikers saying, "Oh yeah, you'll never get across. There's 7 kilometers of mudslides and it's impassable." And we just thought to ourselves, well, you know, would Shackleton have just taken their word for it, turned around and gone home, or would he had a go himself? So we thought we'd better at least have a try. And yeah, it was hard work. I think it's fair to say we made it a little bit harder on ourselves. So there were a couple of good opportunities with the switchbacks to take a little shortcut and just push your bike up a very steep grassy slope and sort of miss out a section of switchback. And I think Steve the first time gained quite a lot of time on that, and Andy had a go and he'd done quite well. Me, Hugh, Steve and Duncan thought we'd picked a winner of an opportunity, and it was just far from it. So we're trying to scramble up pretty much muddy, rocky scree with a bike on our back, and then going down to pick up the pannier bags. Now Andy and Cleona had just pedalled round and they were at the top way before us, so yeah, a little bit of a lesson learned there really. One of the amusing points of that was Duncan having carried all his bags to the top, went back down for his bike and thought, well, it's just going to be easier to bike it round. And no, and it absolutely was, but we were sort of waiting just by the brow of, just below the brow of a hill, and Duncan comes over the hill quite triumphant. He's finally cracked it and there's mud everywhere, so it's a bit slippy, and rather than the triumphant roll down the hill to us, you know, perhaps a little slide of the back wheel to stop, his back wheel just spins and he just slowly falls over sideways, which tickled the rest of us, but I suspect at the present time didn't really tickle Duncan, because he got pretty muddy. So yeah, then we carried on hacking our way up to the top. Long old haul in the end, you know, it took us a good chunk of time. Had a quick cup of tea. It was starting to get pretty cold, pretty misty, saw absolutely nothing. So we've yet really to see the Himalayan views we were perhaps promised yet on this trip. Now the downhill on the other side was worth looking at, and that was good. So we made pretty good time coming back down the other side of the mountain. Only one junction really to query which way to go, but that was pretty easy. And then we're down in the base of the valley, just plodding along, constantly looking at our watch because once again we're in pretty short supply of time. So daylight hours we knew were pretty precious. Now we made it here pretty much on the time it gets too dark to bike without light. So about 45k ago, there was some debate whether we would or not, and I think both people were right, because a couple of minutes later and yeah, it would have been head torches on. So pretty pleased to get here. Pretty tired, I think we all are, so we're looking forward to a good nosh in the restaurant, and hopefully a slightly easier day tomorrow. Something to let the legs recover just a little bit. Okay, see you tomorrow then.